Ah, all right. All right. You know, we got Tom today, guys. And you know how much we all love Tom. He puts up the best fight he can. Um and you know, he tried. He tried. And the best part, he's not here to defend himself. And you know, it was just a great match, okay? A great match. We got the Starshatter Arsenal, baby. Um, another rep. Um, safe to say, man, we're all just addicted to this game. It's great. Also, point out this beautiful Triarch Stalker here in the corner. Okay, we're waiting on one more to arrive for the team's event next week. Okay, because I mean, why only own one Triarch Stalker when you can own two? So, let's get into this game. I did make a couple tweaks to my list. So I'm leaning in. I was trying to theory craft some ideas in terms of, can a list exist without the Silent King and be competitive? I think there's still a way to do it. I think the problem is the way that Star Shatter needs to function is you do need, in most Necron lists, you do need some sort of like anchor list on your primary. And the really nice part with the Silent King is he fulfills a really good anchor piece and also a really good damage piece at the same time in this detachment. If you take him out and you go the Catacomb Command Barge route, like the only other anchor pieces really you could do like a combo with like 6 Locust Destroyers with like a Locust Lord and then running the Command Barge like around them. But even still, I think there's a lot of things in the game that, like, if you clear the screen, you connect with those Locust Destroyers, they can just kill them in one activation, and then you're just kind of super screwed. So I'm gonna keep playing with the King. I think it feels better in this detachment, but I did make some tweaks. So I felt in the first 2 games, it needed to lean a little bit more into durability on the King to make him just harder to kill. So we brought in 1 Reanimator, and mainly the combo is with this detachment is it gives you the flexibility to obviously reanimate 2d3 on the King. And then there's a strat in my fight phase, which is very important. The strat is phase lock to my turn. I can move the King back on the objective and heal him another 2d3. So it just adds a little bit more durability to him. And the Reanimator serves as a great just like midfield action piece as well, which is really nice for only 75 points. And then I added in another unit of Tomb Blades to put in reserve just for a potential like ingress threat and make it a little bit easier to deny primary if I need to. It didn't really come up in this matchup. Just because guard, if you think about them from like a macro perspective, they're going to have really strong board control, really strong primary on his natural expansions where he's able to put 8, 10, 12 OC at a time. So it didn't like the changes didn't really come up in this matchup too much, but I definitely think in other matchups it'll cause problems with the Tomb Blades ingressing in and then moving on objectives and being able to put 6 or potentially 10 OC on a point. In rounds 2 and 3, I think is going to be nice. So I'll report back on that when I have a matchup that I can see it on. And then we added in death marks. The breakpoint was kind of weird as far as the points went. So this is a list that's 2,000 on the nose. So it's Imhotep the Stormlord. I think that's going to be mandatory in this detachment because, spoiler alert, all the strats are really good. You have a Hexmark Destroyer on the objective. And we're going to have a unit of 3 Aminics in play, and then 2 Triarch Stalkers, Silent King, Reanimator, Death Marks, 2 Doomsdays, 2 units of Tomb Blades, and a unit of Scorpex. So let's get into it. I might make a separate video, probably just to save time, on my current list and like why I'm running it. So I'll do that on a separate video, save time. Let's get into this freaking game. That's what you guys came here for. All right. So turn 1. he's going to get first turn, which I don't know. I probably against guard, it's probably better that I go second. But at the same time, it's like so nice, like being able to like potentially parking lot my opponent with the stalkers. But he got first turn, so I think he played it really well. He's going to shift this Chimera over here. He's going to move up this Sentinel. He's going to do a beautiful move block right here, which we'll talk about. And then that's more or less it. And he's going to get Sabotage and Establish Locus, so pretty easy turn for him. So let's fast forward here. The deployment, actually, I switched this around. So this Stalker was right here, so we scout the Stalker here. The other Stalker is right here. And then the Tomb Blades, they scoot back over here. So fast forwarding into his turn, that's basically what it looks like. He cleans up the flayed ones with the Flamers. He's going to Locust with this. He does a great move block for the King, and then passes it over to me. So this is me measuring out the Stalker to move him up. So based on my turn, we're going to get Overwhelming Force, which, you know, Tom, hey, good players in here. Do you see any Overwhelming Force options? Nope. So for all you players, like, make sure, don't give them easy, like, you know, if you're going to put someone on this objective and they get Stormhouse Overwhelming Force first turn and something easy to kill, I mean, you just gave them 7 points. Especially with Starshatter, remember, on the objective, +1 to hit, shooting, and melee, at least right now. It might be hotfix. They might just do it for shooting. Even if it's just for shooting, I think it doesn't really change much, but +1 hit on all objectives. So let's go to my turn. I think the biggest thing that we talked about, I think, against guard is if this Sentinel was not here, this Silent King, I think you just pay the 1 CP to auto-advance him. So just FYI, you pay 1 CP, auto-advance. The King is moving 14 inches. And bear in mind, when you're running Imhotech and you have 2 CP at the start of your turn, 1 CP for flat 6 advance, 1 CP to go through a freaking wall. So, like, hypothetically, if I wanted, I don't think it's worth a 2 CP play to do that potentially, but you could literally yeet the Silent King right here first turn. It's crazy. But instead we went this way because I was like, we need to, and the thing is, I don't know. I don't think guard can kill the King. I think that's what Tom and I came to the conclusion of. I told him, I was like, don't waste your time trying to kill him. I think you just have to go around and kill all the other stuff. So it's like if you put him in a position where it's like with guard where you just like first turn, just center the board, like go for it. Because the thing is like I'm pretty certain there's really no way that he can kill him. He'll definitely do some damage. I don't think he kills him outright. And the amount of firepower he's going to have to expose to try to kill him because he can't afford him just to keep him on the center, the clapback is going to be insane. Where you have both the arcs coming out, the King, it would be real bad, I think, real fast. So I think if I play guard again, I think that's more or less probably what I would do. Or like the change I think I would do is probably, it might actually be worth the 2 CP, even though he does have a move block here, just to move him up 14. And the worst part about it, guys, is like you advance, you spend 1 CP to get him in this spot, you shoot at him, depending on how many activations you put there, then he flat 6 advances and he's on the freaking point. Just took your primary. I don't know. There's options. Granted, you don't want to be on the point against guard because then he's going to get the full rerolls. So it's very like situational dependent. But yeah, so let's get into it here. So that's basically my turn. So we kill. Okay, so I got no prisoners and overwhelming. I'm like, okay, you know, when you shift all this stuff out, you guys are going to see. Okay. Shift all this out, advance up. We advance the King auto 6 so he gets on the point. Reanimator advances. This all moves back. We're going to charge this here. We clean up this. We leave 1 Catachan on 1 wound. So annoying. This thing, I needed 1 wound to go through. I probably should have tank shock. It's still kind of risky because that had 3 wounds left. Stalker's 3 damage flat. AP 1. He's still saving on 4s. Good chance he saves. He saves it. So kind of sucks. Is what it is. Only a 2 on no prisoners. Going into his turn 2. 8 on primary. That was my goal the whole game. I'm like, I need to just give him 8s. Just give him 8s, and I need to just press. I need to press him in a way that I can just force and hold down these 3 towards the late game, and just make as much as I can. So turn 2, he's going to get no prisoners behind enemy lines. Spoiler alert, there's really no way you're preventing guard from getting behind enemy lines. So that's happening. But what was spicy, I didn't get no prisoners, but both of these units battle shocked. So he could not fall back with the Sentinel to get behind enemy lines, so he had to use some Aquilons to drop in to take that. So let's see this here. Yeah, get your 9-inch sticks, boys. Okay. So this is basically bottom of 2 here. So he's going to bring these Aquilons in here. He lasers the death marks that were right here. It was actually hilarious. Like, I think he did 5 wounds, and I know, guys, it's possible. I rolled 3 1s and 2 2s, and they all just died. So my dice sometimes, they're just not, it happens, right? So he just lasered him, which was hilarious. So Aquilons, they did what they needed to do. He got 1 asset out the way. We did ingress in this Doomsday Arc right here because he left me a nice little pocket, and he doesn't really have anything that can shoot at it. So that was kind of nice. And then not really much else happened this turn other than just some shots at the Stalker. So he is going to get just a 2 and no prisoners and behind enemy lines, passes it over to me. I get an 8 on primary. We get Storm Hostile and Containment. Very good pull this turn. And sequencing was very important because I know I have, and Tom really liked this move. So originally, I just moved this Doomsday Arc up here. But in hindsight, we needed to advance this Doomsday Arc after I shifted it here because you got to make sure okay, we can definitely pop this thing, but you got to remember about the guys. And the thing is I don't want to expose these pieces yet to get rid of it because the Arc is the perfect piece to get rid of these things. So we advance the Arc right here, so it pushes that line so we can't hide those Catachan there. So we can use the cannon here, and then rapid fire the Catachan there and just limit exposing resources until we absolutely need to. The King is going to start shifting up here because he's really the only piece that can threaten this objective and I think hold it down. And the problem is, this is what it exposes is with Starshatter, you can hold 1 really well, but trying to press and hold 2 or 3 is going to be pretty hard, especially because he has the 3-inch. But I did make a little bit of a slight error with the Hex Mark because he's the one that's giving the -1 damage aura to the King. So I could have, basically, let's go into my movement phase here. This Hex Mark, I thought, visually speaking, because I know he's got that 10-man unit of Aquilons, and I had 5 OC on here, and I know, lining the puck 3 inches, but I thought with this and this, I didn't measure it, sloppy Warhammer on my part, but long story short, he's going to be able to get some guys in here, so spoiler alert, that's coming, but I could have pushed the Hex Mark back just a little bit more, and then that would have prevented that problem, so that was kind of a slight oopsies on my part there. So going into my turn, basically just to simplify my headspace, I know we have to kill this, we have to kill all this, and if we can kill this, I think that's a bonus. And then these guys are dead. They almost lived, which was crazy. The Aquilons. I fired all the tomb. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just shift out Doomsday Arc and the Tomb Blades, and I barely killed the Aquilons. I could not believe it. The Doomsday Arc didn't do anything. It got 3 shots. It hit twice, and then I did 0 wounds, or double ones. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So, but thankfully we killed him on the nose. He has the unit of 5 right here, which I was going to try to laser with this Triarch Stalker. And then we can't shoot at this thing because we have to charge it. Because if we kill it, and then it doesn't give us the ability to get on the point because we have Storm Hostile. So long story short, that's more or less what happened for the turn. We killed what we needed to. We did some chip damage here and then passed it over to him. So going into turn 3, he's going to get an 8 on primary again. He's going to get Containment, Secure No Man's Land. So also a super good pull for him this turn. I just scored him up for 11. Easy peasy. He's going to contain here. We're going to shift this asset up here to contain. And then he's going to hold these two because he can just shift the Bulgrin on the objective. So pretty simple turn from him. And this is basically his go turn. It's turn 3. He's got to bring his other assets out and going to start taking stuff out. So he's mainly going to be targeting this and getting this off the table, which he does. So let's see that play out here. And this is the board state basically going into my turn 3. So turn 3, we're going to get Establish Locus and Defend Stronghold. I am only going to get a 3 on primary because he does the move that we talked about. He drops these Aquilons in here, kills the Tomb Blades, and then has enough OC on the objective to take it. So very good move on Tom's part there, and slightly sloppy on mine. And this is, I mean, that's the thing. Against good players, like, just those little bit of inches, they count, right? And I had some leeway here because the aura, you can give it within 6 inches. And just so you guys know, with Starshatter, so like when you're playing opponents, because this is something that's very easy to mess up, that strat can only be used in the command phase. So your opponent, if they have that aura thing and it's only for 1 unit, you can't move the hex mark and then do the aura like in the movement phase. Like, you have to keep him within 6 because it happens in the command phase. So that's something like very important to remember. Or if you're playing against this detachment, I think it's something easy to miss. And so let's go into the turn. So now basically turn 3, I'm like, this is the turn that we need to push and we need to be on the center objective from here on out. So the king, I pre-measured this so he has enough movement for his base to clear right here to get on the objective. And then we're basically going to try to kill as much as we can. In an ideal world, I can kill this, and this, maybe do some chip damage to this. But really the main targets was to make sure we kill this and this, because those are some of his big damage dealers to threaten my stuff. It almost worked out that way, but not quite. So we kill, if we fast forward here, so everything shifts up here, Scorpex stage up. This was also, I think, one of the biggest errors that Tom and I talked about after the game, is he gave like the Scorpex the juiciest target on the table. Like when he put them there, I was like, yeah, this is kind of like perfect scenario here, because I want to tie up the tank commander in combat. That's a way to work around the rule. And the Scorpex, like on average, they could probably do like 6 to 8 damage to a tank commander. So if I can connect just like 1 or 2 shots with the arc, I think I can pop it. So we basically, this is what the turn looks like, just to kind of speed things up here a little bit. And so we kill this tank, and then we almost kill the Demolisher. The arc rolled well. He rolled pretty well on saves, so I was only able to get one wound through for 4 damage, which I knew wasn't going to be enough to kill it. Scorpex, they didn't spike on dev wounds, so I think they only connected like on 2, so I think it was at like 5 wounds left, which was, it happens. Like, you can't get yourself worked up over it. I think the biggest thing is that it's tagged. That's the biggest thing, because now if you kill it, which I didn't realize, I thought if you still shoot at it and you kill it in shooting, it can fire back, but Tom was like, apparently not. So if you tag it and then you shoot it the next turn and can kill it, it still doesn't get to do its fire back, which I was like, damn, okay, that's how you do it apparently. So then we charge in with the Bulgrin, start cleaning them up, and then we just stack a ton of OC on this objective that he can't get rid of. We also have these guys here just to prevent him. I wanted to line this point to make it harder for him to come out with these assets and try to like deny this primary. I don't think he would have anyway, but if he did want to do that, like we set these guys up to have like a crazy Overwatch threat if he wanted to come in. So going in his turn 4, he's going to get an 8 on primary, and then this was pretty much the game. He got Mark for Death and Area Denial, which he couldn't do. Cycled Area for Storm Hostile. So we marked the Silent King, obviously. We marked Imhotep, and we marked the Stalker, which in hindsight, I think this is maybe like a good learning opportunity for me. I think it would have been smarter not to nominate the Stalker and nominating like the Hexmark or the Doomsday instead, just because it does create a situation like maybe these aren't as smart of a Mark for Death choice, but if he does kill this, it's like a 9-point play, and it forces him versus like if he just if you kind of bait him and force him to use his assets to try to kill this, then this is still alive. Maybe he gets the mark for death here, but there's no way for him to get the storm hostile up here, I think was the biggest thing, because we're going to tie on primaries. So he's going to, and this was the big point of the game, so he's going to move the Chimera up here. He's basically going to fire. He has a line right here on the Stalker. And then he's going to fire that, and then charge in with the tank shock and then try to get him, which should be enough. And then I can't remember if the Demolisher was able to see as well. I think it was able to maybe draw a line. So long story short, I needed a CP reroll 1 save on a 3-up because it was a flat 3 damage, and we make it, so it saves him on 4 wounds. He charges in with the Chimera and then is not able to kill him, and it's left at 1 wound on the Stalker. So we prevented the mark for death, and we prevented the storm hostile. So he gets a 0 on secondary on that turn, which was huge. He cleans up the Reanimator, and then the Silent King, he doesn't fall back with the Bullgrin, so we're just like, banging away. I think we do 1 more damage or like 2 more damage to this tank. And then basically going into my turn, because he knows I'm like, at this point, I'm like, all right, like now we're basically just going to clean up, I think, probably more or less the rest of the board. Like pretty much this is going to be dead. These are going to be dead. This is going to be dead. And he's just going to have like this left, and that's going to be it. So we get Assassination, Secure No Man's Land, which worked perfect because Tank Commander's a character. So we shift out the Arc, fire here, kill that. And then Secure No Man's Land is an easy 5. And then we just shift all these resources over here just to kill this and keep them safe. And this is pretty much where we just like talk it out. So he's going to get 8 on primary again. Overwhelming force for 5. We basically just like, we concluded, yeah, you probably just like kill these guys or something and kill this and call it good. And then he's going to get extend battle line. So he got a good pull in the last turn as well. So he got a 5 there. I'm going to get a 15 at the end. We basically talked it out. I don't think there's any way that he can prevent me from not, like, basically moving the king 8 inches, charging in, these guys moving up, charging, these, and just denying the point. These guys move here. This just advances over here. So we'll control all 3 at the end, and then we get a decent pull as well, extend battle lines, area denial, and then that is the game, finishing up at 81-73 for the Crons again. Damn. What a game. Yeah, I mean, if he kills the Stalker, I think he wins this game. Not I think. I mean, he does win this game, I'm pretty sure. 9. Yeah, he would have won by 1, I think. So, I got lucky there. I made a 3-up, and that was what cost the game. Definitely, I think a couple little, things I think we made errors on both sides. I think the biggest thing for me, like seeing this matchup, is I think he just put the king in the center and just force him to come out. And if he doesn't come out, like he has to come out at like turn 1. And then especially if I'm going first, and then on turn 2, you just bring out the Doomsday Arcs, and then it's like you're just cleaning up like all the resources at that point that can like hurt the king. And you just put your opponent like on the back foot. But yeah, I would have thought, I mean, I think guard can play into this matchup for sure. I don't know. I think so. I'm gonna be playing another game, one more game today, and then I'll be off for like probably till I think teams on Wednesday. But we're gonna play against Blood Angels later. I think what will probably give this detachment the most problem is like melee lists. And I think Blood Angels specifically is going to be an interesting matchup because they fly. So if you look at the list and how you have to build it, there's not a lot of like screening pieces, like outside of like flayed ones. The Stalkers are really nice for that. I think the Stalkers feel really good in this list because they're also a really big footprint. They're durable and they're hard to shift for 110 points. And they synergize so well with the list with just giving ignore cover. So now it's like basically your weapons are AP 5, which is just insane. Like if you hit a tank him blip to ignore cover, and then you hit him with those fucking the arcs or the king. I mean, you're like they're saving on sixes. I mean, it's brutal. So we'll see. We'll see how that matchup goes. But all in all, excellent game. And yeah, we'll wait till the next one.